back to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. Almost forgot what show it was, but we're continuing our conversation with wrestling legend Mickie James, multi-time champion. Truly one of the greats of all time, male or female. I know I've said that a lot in this show, but
so sweet.
I truly mean it. All right, so you come back to Impact Wrestling during Slammiversary. The crowd goes crazy, and you were there for a specific reason.
I was on a mission.
Yeah, you were putting Empower together, your all-women's pay-per-view for NWA. But as you said earlier in the hour, you were out recruiting. You were out. You were trying to get women from, all different feds, all different skill levels to come and be a part of your show. And one of the women that you wanted to talk to was the Impact Knockouts champion, Deonna Purrazzo. You would agree, fantastic wrestler.
Incredible.
Which
is why I wanted her a part of the show.
Yeah.
And you would think that she would have taken it that way. You would have thought that she would have said, hey, here's Mickie, and, I could have picked anyone on that roster. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, obviously she's the champion, and there's nothing, like, I thought it'd be really cool to showcase the Knockouts championship on the show, a championship that I had won multiple times.
Yes.
And it was also really cool to be able to showcase a match that they've never seen before.
Right.
For the championship.
Right.
And so I was very excited about that. I was very excited to be able to have the opportunity. I'd already talked to upper management. I'd already talked about, to Scott D'Amore and to everyone about the potential of things that we could do to get to Empower. And I was so grateful that they allowed me to come, and to be able to do that. They didn't have to do that.
Well, full disclosure, we had Deonna on the show just a few weeks ago.
I know, I saw.
Did you see it? Okay.
I did.
Well, listen, she claims that you were there to, her words, steal her spotlight. She's the Knockouts champion. She feels like, you're someone whose time may have passed. I don't happen to believe that, with all due respect to Deonna. And she felt like you were kind of stealing her spotlight. She had just defeated Thunder Rosa to retain her championship at Slammiversary. It was a great match. Could have went either way. How do you respond to her claims that she was also on my radio show and basically doubled down on that and said, Mickie was only there to steal my spotlight? Now, she did come to Empower, and she did wrestle another legend, Melina Perez.
Incredible match.
Great match.
What a match.
Deonna won, retained her championship, but there still seems to be a little bit of tension between you and Deonna Purrazzo. What is your reaction to her claims that you're stealing her spotlight and, I'll let you take it from there.
To be fair, that had she not won against Thunder Rosa that night, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, because it would have been Thunder Rosa at Empower.
Yeah.
Because what I really wanted was the Knockouts championship showcased.
Okay.
She happened to be the champion. So it wasn't about stealing her spotlight. It was about giving her an opportunity to come be a part of something really cool and groundbreaking with me and with us and for women's wrestling. This is what happens with egos, is that you could twist it and turn it to be about you when it was never about you.
So you're saying with Deonna, this is about her ego?
I would say I get that she's worked really hard.
She calls herself the virtuosa. She's she calls herself the best technical women's wrestler in the world.
There's no denying that.
It's really hard to argue that.
I don't argue that. I mean, I am not a submission wrestler. I never have. I know submissions, but it's not my thing. It's not my forte. I'm more of a striker. I'm an entertainer. I have fun out there, and I kick some butt. That's what I do. I do know submission, so I haven't gotten 20 plus years in the business without learning a few submission holds or how to get out of them.
Right.
However, it just was never my way of fighting, my fighting style, unless I had to. But I think that she took it very personal, and I can understand how she could feel like, oh, she just won this big match against Thunder Rosa, a match that people had been looking forward to seeing. But it was really more about presenting this opportunity to her that I thought that she would really be on board for. We talk about empowering women, and I thought that she was one of those women. I thought she was somebody who would want to step up and help empower and lead the charge on making a difference and making a change. And she took it very personally. And from an ego stance, I just feel like it's just a very simple-minded way to look at things, because it's a selfish way to look at things.
Whoa.
And this wasn't about you. This was about this night. This was about women's wrestling.
All right. Well, I got to ask.
I know
that's with all the tension between you two.
We've gotten to a place where by the time we got to Empower, with all of her sassiness and all of the sideways and the antics and her just. I was hoping she was going to lose that night.
Whoa.
I wanted Melina to beat her very badly.
Yeah.
And I was very biased about all the other matches, but that was one match that I wanted to go a way different way.
Wow.
And I was personally screaming my heart out and cheering for Melina, who has been probably my biggest rival, one of my biggest rivals in all of wrestling, but also in that and going to war with each other for so long. We've also become one of my dearest friends.
You develop that respect, and then
it's
the respect turned into
and that's
friendship.
the problem, is Deonna doesn't have respect. She doesn't have respect for the business. She doesn't have respect for the women who paved the way. The only person Deonna respects or cares about is Deonna. And that's bad business, because you are not better than the business. You are not better than the women who have paved the way for the business. And just because you think that you have retired, first off, nobody in wrestling ever retires.
No.
Let me just remind you about that. But secondly, just because you've had some matches and beaten a few legends, mostly by faulty tactics for the most part, doesn't make you better than anybody. So.
All right, so I got to ask.
I'm hot.
Because I didn't mean to get you upset.
But because I had a special moment, and then she talks about stealing spotlights and stuff.
Yeah.
But clearly I had my first match back in almost a year at NWA 73 against an incredible opponent, someone who I was really excited to work with, who I looked at as she's hungry, she's incredible, she's an incredible performer. Kylie Rae, like, I see so much of myself in her.
I love Kylie Rae. I adore
great.
her.
So great.
Yeah, I mean, she left Impact and she's at NWA now. We miss her over at Impact, believe me.
Well, you know.
Yeah. So, but it begs the question, Mickie.
But then she came in and she's like, oh, I'm going to steal her spotlight. After the match, after this, it's history, and it just come off the high of Empower. And obviously did I come out after her match and say a word? No, because I'd already gotten what I wanted. I wanted to get this match in the ring at Empower, and I got it. And I was excited for it, and it was a hell of a match, and both of the ladies delivered on every single level. One of the best matches I've ever seen. The next night, after not wrestling in a year and having a pretty awesome match against Kylie Rae. Thank you, Kylie Rae. She comes out and attacks me.
Yeah.
Masked, hooded. I'm surprised she didn't have the little luchador outfit on. I'll be honest. That's the only thing that would have made it better. But in reality, she handed it to me. She caught me off guard, and she beat the absolute dog crap out of me. And I watch it back, and I'm embarrassed to watch it back. I'm embarrassed that I didn't see it coming, because I should have known better, because I know how egos work and I know how tactics work. And, you know, she was walking around with a chip on her shoulder the whole weekend, you know. I should have seen it coming, and I didn't, and that's my fault. Because I was too wrapped up in the moment and the celebration of it all, of this just an awesome weekend altogether. And, yeah.
So is that setting up for a dream match? Because wrestling fans want to know. Are we going to see Mickie James in the ring against Deonna Purrazzo?
Well, I can tell you this. It might be a dream match for a lot of fans, but it's a nightmare for her. Because this time I'm not just going to hurt your ego. I'm going to hurt your wallet. I'm going to hurt your that championship when I take it from you. When I take both of them from you, I'm going to take everything from you. Your pride, your joy. I'm going to give you a little ego check. All of it is happening.
So this is going down.
Well, here's the thing, is she likes to play mind games, and I think that she's forgot that I am the professor of mind games. I am, you know, I helped invent the word mind game when it comes to wrestling. Yeah. So she just messed with the wrong one. And I thank you for it. Now I have my business hat off, literally. I put it over here on the side.
Now you're back to being the
now
badass
is what's
wrestler.
best for business for Mickie James, not just for, you know, women's wrestling. So
how soon do you want to get this match in the ring? How soon do you want to?
Tomorrow. But we're gonna have to wait to address this situation till at least Skyway Studios.
Okay. Wow. I mean, this is something you've been...
I mean, I can drive from my house, literally. Right. I could saddle up my horse and ride her all the way down to Skyway Studios and then tie her off back, you know. Come in, beat up Deanna. Maybe give the horse a little rinski.
Right.
So she can cool off because it's hot outside.
Yes, it's a little warm today. So this is something you've been thinking about, and this is something that you want.
It's something that I haven't stopped thinking about since NWA 73. Like I feel that, you know, she's gone out of her way to say a lot of shady things.
Okay. I thought you were going somewhere else.
Shady things. Since even just me, and I honestly was doing it out of a love for the business, and I thought, you know, and I know that she loves wrestling as much as I do, and she's a passionate person, and I get that, and I'm a passionate person too, but there's one thing that I've never stood for, and that's being disrespected. And she's gone out of her way, and I bit my tongue a lot.
Yeah.
And she has disrespected me time and time and time again, and I'm done. I'm over it. I don't stand for it, and I won't sit for it either.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will tell you this. If this match goes down, and it seems like we could be heading that way, I will be in the building. I promise you that. I want to see that.
Good.
Wrestling fans want to see that. Everybody wants to see Mickie James back in the ring. All right. Everybody wants to see Mickie James back in the ring in a big main event match. But, all right. Well, glad we were able to talk about that. I just wanted to touch on real quick about what's going on, you know, elsewhere in the business. CM Punk came back. He's at AEW now. We're hearing that Bryan Danielson could be coming back.
Ooh.
You know, listen, the moment when CM Punk came back into the ring, I mean, it felt genuine. And say what you want about Punk, but as a wrestling fan, I live for that moment that I saw on Rampage that one night. I don't know if you got a chance to see it. What were your thoughts?
I live for moments, period. I think a lot of people design and they look at and like, oh, I want to have the best match, or I want to have this, and I'm like, no, it's about the moments. People remember moments. They remember emotion. They remember how you made them feel. They don't remember how you got there, but they remember the feeling. And I've known Punk a long time. I was here at Impact Wrestling, here at the Nashville Fairgrounds with Punk when we were in the Gathering with Raven. We were in developmental together. He came there to OVW. We actually debuted on Sunday Night Heat together, and that got pulled from the card. I mean, just imagine how different our careers would have been if that would have been our introduction into the WWE universe, you know. So there's just a lot of things, and I was at Ring of Honor with him, and just Punk is an incredibly talented man. And I think that his absence from wrestling has been, you know, sorely, like people have missed him. He's always been incredible. He's money on the microphone, and he speaks with pure heart and pure love for the business and pure passion, and I respect that and I appreciate that. And there's no denying that his career, he wasn't supposed to be the top guy. He wasn't supposed to be that guy, but he was that guy. Against all the other things that told him that you can't be that, he was still that. And that's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable, and I think had he come back, or you know, now that he is back, but had he not come back, his name would still be etched in the histories as one of the greatest of all time. They were chanting it for the last 7 years in arenas. Every time, especially when they're in Chicago.
Yes.
You know, that's when it gets really loud.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. I've met him a couple times. He's a pretty cool dude.
He is a very cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a very cool dude, and I'm happy to see him back. I'm happy to see him thriving. I'm happy to see him smiling in the business again.
Yeah, he looks happy.
That's an amazing thing.
Yeah. Well, we're happy to have Mickie James in studio. We're going to take one more break and wrap up the show right after this.